Welcome to the Idaho Main Street Podcast, where we talk about the issues that matter to you.
Oh, man. I don't like that you're better dressed than me today.
It's the first time ever.
It is. All right. We're here with one of our favorites returning. It's been way too long since you've been on, Senator. He's back, and we just were talking about he's dressed better than me today, which
is a
little
first.
Disappointed on. I should have put a tie on.
I don't think so. I think that would have been totally against everything you're about.
I know. I've got a brand.
You do have
Yeah.
a brand.
People think I dress like this.
You
like,
even grew a beard since last time we
It's
spoke.
coming in, right?
I like it.
Little homeless look.
I don't think
Should
so.
we keep it?
I think it looks good.
I've been debating just doing the mustache.
I think you should. That would be legit.
That would be the boob, right?
Yeah, and then you could go cowboy.
Yeah. Hey, Matt Todd's listening. We're going to really take over the ranch once I show up in boots and a mustache.
That dude's not. That guy doesn't like. Does he? I think he is growing a little bit of a beard, little mustache.
He's getting there. I'm excited to go on his show. You were just on the Ranch podcast where you were spitting fire on a number of issues.
I don't know about that. We had a good time. That guy swears on his podcast. Do you swear on your podcast?
No, I was told they were going to censor me, and my dad listens to this. So I gotta be careful. Yeah, I think my dad's the only one that listens
What
to
about
this.
small little whispers? It's no big deal.
You might, tempt me into one today. We'll let it slip. I'm just not that passionate about anything to swear.
I get it.
Oh, man. So how's the session been?
I think it's been pretty good. It started off super slow. It started off pretty slow. I think that people maybe are deciding maybe it's better to get along a little bit. Maybe there hasn't been nearly as much infighting amongst our caucus that, compared to other sessions. So I think that's fairly good.
Do you think that's a Senate thing or a whole legislature thing?
I have no idea. I don't pay attention to the House that often. Those guys are, the shenanigans that take place in the House, double the trouble over there, obviously. So I guess I don't pay too much attention to those guys. But in the Senate, it's been. We just voted on 93 a couple days ago. That was the first real big vote, probably the biggest vote of the session, I would think, maybe.
So for our listeners, that's the school choice bill, if you will. That it was Wendy Horman's out of the House, and it kind of sent money towards
Hartog in the Senate. Yeah.
How'd you vote on that?
I voted no. I did.
Great.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Are we
Page
talking
into
about
that
now?
Okay, so you voted against the bill. How has the constituent response? Have you heard much from your voters?
No, I haven't. When I voted against it in committee, crickets. I'm sure there's people out there who don't like my vote, but before the committee hearing and before the floor hearing, I would have to say that it maybe 150 to 1 emails against, and so
telling you to vote no.
I don't know. We don't know where those emails are coming from. Obviously there was the big brouhaha about fake emails a week or two ago, and we can get into that if you want. But I don't know what's fake and what's real. But I would say 150 to 1 against, and so it really wasn't a hard vote for me.
Really?
I got home that evening and I put my head on my pillow, give my wife a kiss, and I felt good.
I'm glad that's where the story stopped. I told you this was a kid's show.
I felt good.
Good for you.
You want to talk about it?
I'm curious on, so there wasn't a blow up then. You didn't.
No blow up. No, I know, because this is my approach, and this is where I think people get really confused about what happens in the legislature.
Yeah.
When I go knock doors in my district, and I knock on a door, and I talk to someone that doesn't agree with me, I just tell them the truth. I literally look in their eyes and I say, "This is how I voted." And one of the things that I think that a lot of legislators get caught up on is they just go with they go the easy route, or they go, they sometimes get caught up in voting for things that they can't defend. And for me, if I can defend my vote, then I'm golden. That's all you need. And when I talk to someone and they're like, "Treg, you're an absolute moron because you voted this way," I'm like, "Well, let's talk about it. This is how I voted." And they're like, "Well, that makes sense. I still disagree with you, but they feel my heart. They know that I'm telling them the truth." The minute that you talk to someone and you're fake and you can't defend your vote is the day that you just became like everyone else.
Yeah.
It's you have turned into just another slimy politician down at the Capitol who just wants to sit there and get introduced when they walk into a room. And for me, I don't care about that. I care about when I'm in front of a constituent and I can defend a vote and they can say to me, Treg, that actually makes sense. I still disagree with, but at least you're not lying to me.
Yeah, but at
least you're not pandering to me.
Pandering's a good word. Yeah.
And so I just refuse to do it. And so my constituents in D21 know that I am real. And what you get, here I am. This is I will never change. And you may disagree with my votes, but at least you know that I can defend my votes and we can have adult conversations about my votes and we can bro hug at the end, and they know that I will never lie or pander. And I think that is just it's my secret sauce.
But you got to be thinking about a primary when you're making these votes.
I don't care.
You got to be thinking, oh man, it's going to be a nasty primary.
Because guess what? I'm going to go out and work. My votes aren't. I don't vote because I'm afraid of a primary. There is a certain segment, of our Republican Party that don't really like me, and they'll always primary me. And to that I say, it keeps me sharp. It keeps me in front of people. It keeps me active, and
that is the beauty of the Republic.
I don't care.
Right?
It is what I if I'm beat, then I get beat. But at least I can, I'll get beat knowing that I did what's true to myself. That's the most important thing.
So how do you respond when you have constituents that kind of want to bully their way into saying like, hey, I elected you. My taxes are paying that fat salary you're getting, Trey.
Yeah.
You have to vote the way I'm telling you to vote.
That's never happened.
No, nobody tells you what to do.
No. I've never, people, when they donate to me or they sit down and talk to me, it was sick. When someone writes me out a check for my campaign, it's because they're buying into my agenda. Yeah. They're saying, I support Treg because I know he's going to be X, or he supports X, or his vision for District 21 in Idaho is this. I've never been asked for a quid pro quo. I am who I am, and either you love me or you hate me.
Yeah, I think there's an old quote from Treg Bernt that I'll butcher, but it's along the lines of like, when you elect me, you also elect my time.
Yes.
You elect my intelligence.
Yes.
You elect my judgment.
Which for me is like 50-50 on the intelligence.
Yeah, but the time, they're getting all your time.
That's true.
You make up for it.
That's true.
Exciting times. All right. You're really in touch with what the municipals care about. You're really in touch with what Meridian County, the Meridian City Council, what your county's working on across the board. Anything concerning coming through the legislature that the city council members are knocking on your door about?
Interesting. God, that's a good question. Locals. I feel like we voted on something that I skewed on local control. Oh, okay. So my distraction-free bill.
Okay.
Cell phones.
Yeah.
So we, Representative Petsky and I, we introduced a distraction-free, no cell phone policy, or distraction-free policy. And it was really interesting because, well, to give it a little background, we sat down at dinner with Dr. Jonathan Haidt. We
love the anxious generation.
So you nailed it, buddy.
Love it.
That's literally,
you met him.
That might be the Bible of cell phones.
Did you get me a signed book?
I know. I didn't even get a signed book. So the book hadn't came out yet when we met him.
Oh, okay.
But he had past books that were hugely popular.
Uncoding the Human Mind.
Yes.
Uncoding. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just hugely popular. I hadn't read those books, but there was like a little symposium, and he went up and spoke about his upcoming book, Ancient Generation. We had dinner before, and I sat down with Petsky after the dinner, and I'm like, we got to do this. Yeah. This is a necessary policy that needs to be implemented statewide. This is a must. Mm-hmm. And so we spoke with Dr. Bub. Have you had Dr. Bub on your podcast, May Street? You just said he's a rock star. He's doing.
Let's get him on.
He's out in Meridian, in West State. So we sat down with him, and we went to Meridian High School, and we want to talk to the kiddos. Yeah. We want to talk to the students. We listen to them. And we went to the leadership council class. They have when you're on leadership and in the council, when you're a student body president, they actually have a class where that's just all of the leaders of the school, like the students are. So we went to that class, and a couple stories. Am I able to tell a couple stories?
Yeah, but I'm going to stop you and remind you that I was the student body president of Bonneville High School class of 2012.
Time out.
I was in that class.
Is that the green school, like the bees, the bumblebees?
We were fighter bees, but yeah, bumblebees. Tell us the story. What was it like being in class?
So we were there, and the one of the co-student body presidents told a story about how she'd been going to school with some of her classmates for up to 8 years, and it was just this year because of this policy that West Ada implemented that she was able to find out who her classmates were and what their names were.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, think about back in the day. You know, for me, it was 30 years ago when I graduated from high school. I'm old as dirt. Bro.
Yeah, thanks for saying that.
Old as dirt. We didn't have anything like this back then, so we were forced to have free range, and that's what it talks about in the anxious generation. You know, free range kids that go out. That's not what it's called. What does he call it? It's not free range kids.
No, you're thinking chickens. Yeah, but close.
And so we went out and played. We hung out and we talked and we engaged and we did stupid stuff. We got in a little trouble. Now kiddos. Now they're on their cell phones.
Yeah.
And another girl, another leader that's in that class said that when she goes to work, she isn't anxious anymore because she doesn't have to have her phone. So she leaves her phone in her purse. She leaves her phone in her car, and she's actually a better employee. So the side effects, the results of these policies are just going to, I think not only are they going to help kiddos in school, but they're also going to help kiddos outside of school and in life. And I think it's extraordinarily important.
So where's the bill?
So the bill says that, so back up a little bit, the governor did his executive order, I think like last fall. Mm-hmm. And so he gave $5,000. You had to do some certain things. And I think 90 plus school districts applied and got his grant. And so we took it a step further and said, by the end of the year, every school district has to have a policy, but local control, we are going to allow, school districts to tailor their policies based upon what they feel is most important. Yeah. Because West Ada School District, which is the biggest school district in the state, is a little bit different than Uncle Van's school district over in Salmon, right? Yeah. Or Senator Carlson's school district in Riggins. Mm-hmm. There's been cell phone policies in place in Blaine County, up in Kootenai County, and they've done total cell phone bans. And that was the pushback that we got, that you guys didn't go far enough. But we say, hey, if you want a full cell phone ban, then we're not stopping you. Yeah. Go for it. And it passed out of committee in the Senate, unanimous. It just passed House Ed Committee, unanimous, and it's going to the floor. And I think it's gonna get across.
That stuff saves lives, and that's not like cliche. You look at the suicide rates.
Yes, the shackles. Yeah. Think about what it does. It relieves students and kiddos of the shackles of addiction, anxiousness, and they become new.
Yeah.
They then show their personalities and who they are. They come out and they're the real them. And I think, we did, save lives. Such a simple bill.
Yeah. And unanimous in the Senate. That's fantastic.
And the kiddos came, the student body president of Hawaii High School, Rocky Mountain High School, what was the Mountain View High School came and testified. They did so good. They did way better than Petsky and I.
I believe that.
That's 100%
That's great.
True. No, it's true. You got to watch it. They did such a great job. Great job.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Speaking of devices, what are you hearing on Senator Cook's device bill?
I haven't heard about that. We talked about that a week or so ago. Is he going to bring that back? I'm not sure.
We're waiting. I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
We hear a lot from our listeners who are concerned about children's access to pornography and things like that. Oh, I said the word. We were supposed to say explicit material.
Shoot. Explicit material. Yeah. And did you watch Kevin Cook's debate on the floor in House Bill 93?
Yeah.
That guy.
Speaking of fire.
I mean, Kevin Cook. Let's talk. Can we talk a little bit about
Let's
Kevin
talk about,
Cook?
Breakfast with the Cooks.
That guy. I learned something during his debate.
And that's coming from a guy who said he'd never change.
I'm telling you, like to see the process of how money flows, with his experience in JFAC and how he was able to explain how we're sort of bouncing. I apologize.
No, you're good.
But how he literally explained how the money flows from when we collect the money until we spend the money, and as it relates to House Bill 93 and where that refundable tax credit and how that fits in with all of it. Amazing. If you haven't seen Kevin Cook's explanation of how that works and how non-transparent House Bill 93 is, watch his debate. There's no rebuttal to it. Truly. It was a mic drop debate, and he did a phenomenal job.
And there's an example of somebody who you can't question his conservative credentials.
No.
As red as they come.
Yes. And, he wasn't emotional. He wasn't emotional. He literally got up and explained the X's and O's and left the Johnnies and the Joes out. He just went X's and O's. He explained it from A to Z, and it was absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
I really I wanted to give him a standing O. I'm like, Kevin Cook.
Did you get to bro hug after?
Oh, God, what a good dude.
Well, speaking of debates, did you catch your BFF Josh Wheeler's Indiana Jones reference in the Medicaid debate?
Yes, I did. The sword of what?
I don't know.
I saw Laramie. Laramie had posted something online.
Yeah, she's so proud of him.
I love Wheeler, but he can be sort of geeky.
He's kind of a nerd, isn't he? I think he's a self-prescribed nerd, and that makes it okay.
I love that guy too.
He's found his own. He's hit his stride.
Yeah. Does he ever match?
Like his clothes?
Yeah. I mean, so I saw him the other day. He's wearing this navy blue suit and this flowery shirt.
Oh, that floral shirt's one of his favorites.
Yeah. With his striped tie. That guy, you just want to give him a big hug.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing well.
He is doing really well.
Man, so look into your crystal ball for us from now to the end of the session. First off, is the session ever going to end?
Yeah, I mean, JFAC's having a little bit of trouble. They started off rough, but I think that they're spitting out some maintenance bills, which is important.
Yeah,
I think we'll be fine. I know that, obviously there's some tax policy, there's some tax bills out there that have came over to our side that we're going to look at, whether it's some tax rebates and also some grocery tax credits as well that we just got. So I think those are going to be the next big bills that we'll vote on.
So you've got this interesting place where we like cutting taxes, we like giving it back.
Tax cuts, not credits, tax cuts.
Yeah. So we like cutting taxes and giving them back to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
We're also in a place where if we don't make some investments now, it could get really expensive later. So how do you balance those two?
Well, that's the thing. I don't mind tax cuts. But we have to be investing in Idaho at the same time. So if we don't have the money to be able to invest in Idaho, and that's infrastructure, that's education, that's all the important stuff that we all care about, then it's probably you got to do both. You can't do one or the other, I think. And so we're able to balance it right now, but the coffers are probably going to not be quite as full going forward, and so you might not see as much of that. I think personally.
Yeah, I'm hearing from more and more people just off the street that'll say things to me like, I'm okay not getting this tax cut if it means that a little bit can go towards and then insert this school, this bridge, and those roads. Senator Lent will tell you all this stuff's only getting more expensive to take care of.
Oh my word, 100% true. So just as long as we're investing in Idaho, I'm okay with the tax cuts. Once those coffers are low, we're not able to do as both, and I think that it's time to just sort of sit back and we just got to be conservative in how we approach it.
Anything major you expect to come down? We've had conversations on school choice. We've had conversations on Medicaid with previous guests. What do you expect? Anything surprises that you expect? Anything big that's going to show up from now until the end of the session?
Not maybe. Was here some stuff about water? Maybe I don't know.
We're not allowed to use that word on the podcast.
That's true.
Yeah, you can't talk water. That divides people.
100% true. I don't think so. I think that the big bill was 93. I think.
Yeah, you think that took.
We're waiting to see what the Gov does on it. As far as surprises, I don't foresee any surprises going forward.
I think I joke about water because I know Representative Mickelson, Representative Rabel, like there are a lot of them that are working really hard every day on this.
Introduced a resolution today.
Yeah.
Uncle Van's, neck deep in that as well.
I've never known anyone to call Senator Bernshaw Uncle Van. Is he like
I
that?
call him Uncle Van?
No. Is he actually your uncle?
No.
Are
That's
you
what
his?
I call him. Van Bernshaw is like a dad to me.
I love that.
Yeah. So he's not my dad, so I call him Uncle.
Oh, cool.
Uncle Van.
Many people don't know him because he operates like he's not big on the socials and he's not going to be in your face, but
right.
He is a statesman cut out of the same cloth as Brent Hill. Bart Davis.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been on a podcast where I talk so much about other legislators.
Look how humble you're becoming.
But I will say this, whatever. And so I will say this, that Uncle Van is probably one of the finest men in the building.
So does it worry you that those type of people get burned out because we know?
Yes.
Add in the nasty campaign dollars coming in from out of state.
It worries me a lot.
The fake emails. Our listeners probably aren't familiar with the fake email incident that came up. Brief us on that real quick.
Well, so was it last week or the week before? The American Action Fund, I think that's what it was called, Young Americans for Liberty. Mm-hmm. They've been bad actors in our state for at least 1 or 2 years. I mean, another little subgroup of them, Make Liberty Win this last election cycle. It was despicable what they did, and all of the money that they spent against me personally in my district, they only gained like 1.5 points compared to my first primary election. So the amount of money that they spent compared to what happened 2 years ago with me, I mean, they didn't get a huge return on their investment.
But what does that look like when you say the money spent? What are they spending the money on?
They spent in my district. They spent money on text messaging. They spent it on mailers. They spent. I think Petsky was. They spent money on him against him on I think TV. They didn't go TV with me. But getting back to where we were talking about emails, so we were. I mean, it's not uncommon for a legislator to get hundreds, if not thousands, of emails, for or against a hot topic policy bill, whatever the case may be. And so our inbox got flooded a week or two ago for, I think it was for a grocery tax repeal, total repeal, and there were just tons of them. And so Representative Furness over in your neck of the woods,
Rod,
actually got an email from himself saying, "Dear Rod, blah 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 blah, we support tax repeal. Dear, or like sincerely, Mr. Rod Furness." And so, I mean, I got some emails that from me. I think we all got them, but come to find out, they were completely fake. And so I got an email from one of my neighbors, and she has since moved to Donnelly, Idaho. And I actually sent her an email back. I'm like, "Am I still supposed to listen to you even though you're not my constituent anymore? Like, I miss you, huh?"
Yeah.
And so I called her after Rod came out about his issue, and I think Senator Lakey came out with some issues that he had, and so I called her on the phone and asked her if she had sent me that email. She had no idea what I was talking about. And the big deal, as a result of these emails, it really makes me and other legislators wonder what's real and what's fake. Yeah. Because you have good legislators out there. I think I'm okay, I think I'm middle of the road, whatever. But I do care about what my constituents think, and I care about their opinions, and I'm always available. I'm one of the most available legislators in the building. I meet with people in the off session at parks, and we sit and chat and we eat ice cream, and that's not uncommon for me. And so it's disappointing that you have outside groups who infiltrate Idaho because it's cheap to do business, to affect and to divide and to make, to create chaos amongst those who care. And it's a scary thing when a legislator doesn't know if what he's getting is real or fake. And it really, I believe it's not good for Idaho.
Well, and if I'm your constituent and I think I'm going to be one of 1,000 fake emails, like my real one's going to get buried, What's the motivation for me to take the time to actually send that email?
You know what I tell people? I'm going to send out an email or a newsletter. I'm like, just call me. Just call me. Text me.
Yeah.
You know, stop at my door, knock on it, you know. We'll talk. It's what these outside interests are doing and how much money they're spending on this nonsense.
Just to create chaos, you say?
They're fakes, they're phonies, and they're frauds. And I am completely okay and open to say that because it's true. They finally got caught for who they are.
Is it legal?
It can't be. I know that there's something's been filed with the Secretary of State's office. I know Secretary McGrain's involved.
He'll get to the bottom of it.
So I'm sure they'll get to the bottom. You got the smart guys involved.
Yeah.
But it's just disappointing because, you know, this is not what Idaho is. This is not who we represent. And it just, you know, I shake my head and it makes me work. It makes me work harder.
Yeah,
is what it does.
Because we still have very much the pioneer spirit here, and I love the accessibility, not just of our elected leaders, but I look at our public school system, and a lot of people from other places aren't used to the accessibility you have to be able to walk in and talk to a teacher directly, and that is a unique privilege we have in Idaho. Where you want to get into Chicago public schools, it's not going to happen. They once started that place where you had full accessibility, but bureaucracy and processes and size. We're just in such a good place right now, and even though we're managing growth, it would just be such a shame if we had to shift to a place where there was just so many more obstacles to have these type of conversations.
I agree. Secretary McGrain's going to fix it. I know that he will. It just makes the good guys work harder.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I like that. Session's not over yet, but I'm sure you're aware that there's probably some work that you have to begin before next session. There's probably some bills that didn't quite get through or you didn't have a chance, things you're hearing from your constituents. Is there a to-do list you have in your desk of, well, if I get a shot next session at this, I'm going to try to do these?
Not yet. I haven't really got there yet. I still have one more big bill that I've been working on that I care a lot about. It's in Senate Juden Rules this upcoming Monday.
What bill's that?
That's my mandatory minimum driving under the influence vehicular manslaughter bill. We made some changes to it. It flew through the Senate last session, died in House Juden Rules. House Juden Rules is a really interesting committee. They don't like mandatory minimums of any kind in that committee. So it's going to be a toughie. It's going to be a toughie. But I have a really good friend that this bill, if it were in place, would have affected her in a positive way. Her husband was tragically killed after they were married like 3 years ago. They'd only been married for 3 months. He went up north to do some hunting, and he got hit head on by a drunk driver. It was his fourth DUI. He was drunk, had an open container. His third DUI, he had his kids in the back seat. And so it's just a bad deal. He died. Her father-in-law died. So I'm trying to help with that process right now with that bill.
So it heads over to the Senate, or excuse me, heads over to the House, and we'll see how.
No, so I present.
This coming month. Okay,
it's a Senate bill.
Got it.
And I present it this on Monday.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on that one. You got a bill number?
I know it has one. Is it? I don't remember.
We'll figure it out. We'll post it when we put this up.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is.
Man, well, it's a Friday afternoon, and you've been so kind to spend some time with us. I don't know how much this we're going to have to cut because of my shenanigans, but this has been fun as always.
Hopefully it's uncut.
It usually is with us.
Brennan, you're the best. You do such a good job. This podcast is blown up, and congratulations.
Thanks.
You're a dear friend, and I'm always close.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you. Again, I'll agree that you've got to be one of the most accessible politicians around, but you're more of a
elected official.
Yeah, I was going to say you're more of a statesman than a politician, so you're a good guy. And you'll come back when I text you 5 minutes before and say, hey, Treg, come over. Let's chat about a few things.
100%.
My man. Okay. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Give your family my best.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Until next time.